Today we're going to see if we can use Five Below art supplies to make a gallery-worthy piece of art. I'm talking about making an art piece that can sell for thousands of dollars. Also, if you're new here, this is the kind of art I make. This one I made using the cheapest art set on Temu. And this one I made using only supplies from Ross. So let's go find out what we can make with the Five Below art supplies. All right, I made it to Five Below. I'm just waiting for the rain to stop so that I can go inside because it's literally dumping rain right now. If you've never been to Five Below, it's pretty much just a store that only sells stuff for under $5. Everything is really low quality and really cheap, but that's why we're here, to see if their art supplies are as cheap as they look. I got everything. They had a pretty good collection in there. A lot of markers. A lot of markers, a lot of like canvas or like weird things to paint, but I didn't really get any of that. I just got paint brushes. So I'm going to be making two art pieces. The first one that I'm going to be using the Five Below art supplies for is I'm actually going to be putting it over my desk right here. I'm trying to redesign my office a little bit, kind of go for these vibes, more of like a mid-century modern coastal vibe. That's what I want my office to be like. So I'm gonna design an art piece to go right over my desk. I'm actually gonna be painting a surfboard. It's a little bit different for me, but I have an idea for something really cool and I'm really excited for it. So I made a post in the local Facebook group asking if anyone had any old retired surfboards that were broken that I could paint. I got a couple people saying they had some, so I'm gonna go check them out and hopefully pick one up, bring it home so we can paint it. Let's go check them out. Yeah, it's very loud.
What you pay for?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah, one of the fins broke off of it, but...
Yeah, that's exactly what I need.
Yeah,
Yeah, dude, that's perfect.
Good luck with it.
Thank you.
Somebody gets just sitting around in a pile.
Yeah, it's like the perfect size. I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm glad somebody got use out of it.
Yeah, definitely. This is like exact size. Have a good one. Okay, this thing is literally perfect. It's very beat up, so no wonder he gave it to me for free. He said he's gonna throw it in the landfill. This thing is getting another life as an art piece. It's so perfect. A couple other people commented on my post on Facebook saying they had some, so I might go grab some more and maybe do some in some future videos. Maybe do a video dedicated specifically just for painting surfboards. But yeah, this is gonna be the one for this video because it's perfect. All right, we got the surfboard in the garage. Before we even get to painting this thing, we got to prep it. So I need to sand the whole thing down, fill in all the cracks and holes, just get it to a state where it can be painted. Luckily, he scraped all the wax off, so there's no wax on it. I don't have to deal with that or anything, but it's in pretty rough condition. It's got a lot of cracks, a lot of bubbles, a lot of holes. It's gonna be a lot of sanding. So let's get started. So I didn't end up getting any of the other surfboards because when it came down to it, they tried to sell it to me rather than give it to me for free, even though they were complete junk. Both the other people I talked to tried to sell it to me for $50 and $75, which would have been worth it, but I got the one I needed. This one ended up being the exact size I needed down to the inch, so I'm very glad I found this one and he gave it to me for free. All right, you guys are not gonna believe this, but we're one step closer to getting a bigger garage, and that's because this video is sponsored. But hear me out, because it's a bit of a full circle sponsorship. This video is sponsored by BetterHelp, and it's a bit of a full circle for me because when we first moved to Florida, it was a big change for me, and I was feeling like a bit of a failure, and I was really just trying to figure out what I was gonna do with my life and what I wanted my future to look like. And I was looking for a way to work through it, but I was way too intimidated to go to an in-person therapist. Plus, I didn't even know where to start when it came to finding an in-person therapist. So I actually ended up using BetterHelp. Doing this helped me see what my different options could look like for my future based on where I put my energy. And speaking to that therapist made me realize that I am the happiest when I'm building things and creating things. And talking to that therapist is a big part of why I started this YouTube channel. BetterHelp makes starting therapy so much easier. In fact, I probably never would have done therapy if it wasn't for BetterHelp. And even at first, if you don't get matched up with the right therapist, you can switch anytime at no extra cost. I personally had a really good experience with BetterHelp, so if you want to give it a try, head to betterhelp.com/AUZZ and you'll get 10% off your first month of therapy. The link is in the description, so go give it a try. Shout out to BetterHelp for supporting small channels like me, but seriously, go click the link in the description so that they keep coming back and keep supporting the channel. I appreciate BetterHelp and I appreciate all of you. As I sand down the board with this fine sandpaper and the sponge, it really brings out all the dents and all the bubbles in the surfboard. Because when you're surfing, you jump up and you stand on the board, and each time you do that, your heels make a dent in the board because the board is just made of foam. And so there was a lot of little dents in this board, and I was worried that that was going to become a problem when it came to epoxy, because obviously I want the whole thing to be smooth when you do epoxy, and sometimes the epoxies will make those bumps look worse than they are. So I tried to sand it down as good as I possibly could. All right, now that it's all prepped and everything, we can get to painting. So what I'm gonna do is I have this white base primer, and I'm gonna use the Ross paint that I got, and I'm gonna mix some colors, some like base colors, so that I can prime the whole board and have that also be the background paint color. So I'm gonna do like a burgundy on top, and then on the rails, I'm gonna do like a sky blue. So I'm just gonna use my Ross paint to like color my primer. Hopefully that works. I think it should work, especially because it's gonna have epoxy over the whole thing at the end. So yeah. We should be good. I think I'm gonna start with the blue because I'm also gonna paint the back of the board blue. So I'll probably paint the back first, make sure everything goes good, then I'll paint the top. Once I get my big colors all blocked in with that paint and primer, which I think will go good, then I can go ahead, take my Ross art supplies, and then we can paint some designs on top. I think I'm gonna paint a hammerhead shark on top. I have this design I drew up that I was originally gonna do like a 3D art piece like this out of, but I think I'm gonna paint it on the surfboard, and then maybe if it goes good, maybe I'll make a 3D art piece out of it anyway. It's gonna look cool, okay? Hopefully it's gonna look cool. All right, I'm gonna open up this paint we got from I'm gonna open up this paint we got from Five Below. I didn't realize that half of these colors are metallic colors, which I can't decide if that's gonna be cool or if that's gonna be cringe. I don't know, we'll see. All of the good colors are in the metallic colors, but usually metallic paint is like super thin. But yeah, I really like this color right here. That's a good color. I feel like I might have to go to Five Below and get more paint because this just does not seem like it's gonna be enough to do anything with. I guess if we're doing the majority of the board with mixing it with our primer and our paint, I guess this should be enough. So I'm gonna use this blue and I'm gonna use this red. Probably mix some black with this because I want it to be a bit darker. And I'm gonna mix this with the white primer, so it's gonna be a lot lighter of a blue. So I'm probably gonna prime the whole thing and then move on to project number 2. Then we can come back and we can paint all the designs on top. All right, if you guys know me, you know that I am very intimidated to paint on a flat surface. I never paint on a flat surface. I pretty much always just paint when I do my layered art, and I use my layers as kind of a crutch because it just works better in my brain to do it that way. Whereas when I'm painting on a flat surface, there's so many options and so much like different things you can do and so many like techniques you need to know, where I don't know any of that and I'm not that kind of an artist. And so this is going to be very different for me. And so I'm kind of going to be painting it as if it were one of my 3D art pieces, but it's still going to be very different. So we will see how it goes. I just sold my first art piece, which is the elk or the deer, the buck, you could say. I just sold it, $1,000. My neighbor's friend wants it. He offered me $1,000, so I said yes. My first official proper art piece ever sold. I'm pretty hyped on it. Hopefully he loves it. It's going in his cabin, kind of the perfect piece for a cabin. So yeah. All right, I got the blue part all done. Now I just need to do the burgundy, I think. So with the blue, I taped it off. I got a nice clean line. But I think with the burgundy, I'm just gonna freehand it because I don't wanna put any tape on my fresh paint and I don't wanna wait for the paint to completely dry because that'll be like 24 hours. So yeah, I'm just gonna freehand the burgundy. Hopefully I get a nice straight line. We'll see how good I am. I just have to say that this color combo is about to become my whole personality because just look how good those colors look together. They're like the perfect contrasting colors, but they accent each other so well. And you don't really see this color combo a lot. I feel like it's kind of starting to become a little bit trendy, but just the maroon with the light blue looks so good together. I'm definitely making that color palette my office's color palette for sure. Let me know what you guys think of it. I'm a little bit sleepy, but it's time to start project number 2. Project number 2 is part of my wilderness series. I'm going to be putting them all up for sale on May 2nd. We'll see what happens. We'll see if they sell, but I'm going to try. Before this video, the wilderness drop is my first time ever trying to sell my art, which technically it still is because I didn't try to sell my elk or try to sell my deer, it just sold by itself. So this is gonna be my first time trying to sell my art. I'm gonna be doing like 4 to 5 pieces of like wilderness animals. Today's animal, I think, is a wilderness animal. Pretty sure it is. You'll see what it is when it starts coming together, but I'm gonna start right now by drawing out all my pieces and cutting them out. Then we can put it together, then we can paint it, then we can epoxy it.
Hey, how's it coming?
Into an owl.
Yeah, that'll keep me going for a while.
That's for sure.
Have a good day.
You too. There's a lot of little pieces on this one. Look at this. I gotta cut out all of those little pieces with all those little zigzags. And I gotta cut out all those pieces. Should be pretty cool though. Hopefully it turns out good. I'm a little bit worried that this one isn't gonna line up right because I accidentally kicked my easel while I was tracing out my layers, and so, what is it, layer 3 might not line up with layer 2, so I'm a bit concerned about that, but time will tell. I'm just gonna cut them out, and if I have to trim them when I start putting it together, then that's what I'll do. Alright, I'm a little over halfway. I got most of like the tiny complex pieces cut out. I just have the 2 bottom layers, which are pretty easy to cut out, but it's hot. I'm gonna go take a little break, go walk on the beach, maybe get in the ocean, just take a little breather, and maybe grab some lunch because it's 11:30. I'm feeling pretty confident that this project should only take me like 3 days to finish. That may be a little overconfident, but we'll see. Back in the garage, there were so many surfers out. I was watching all the surfers for like an hour, which was probably not the best use of my time, but it's motivating me to get out there. It's like the perfect day to go learn to surf, but I just got too much to do. And I'm a little bit of a scaredy cat, but more so, I have too much to do. That's what I'm telling myself. But yeah, let's get back to cutting. Time for the worst part, sanding. I gotta sand all those little tiny pieces you just saw me cut out. This is my absolute least favorite part about these projects. And this one has so many small pieces. I usually use 200 grit sandpaper. This probably means nothing to you, but I'm gonna try 400 this time just because it's a little bit finer, and sometimes the 200 scratches it up, so hopefully the 400 does better. I'll make this fast for you, do a quick time lapse because, trust me, it's boring. All right, I'm gonna head to the store real quick. I need to get some super glue so that I can glue the whole owl together. I also need to get some like electronic duster because my camera keeps getting so much dust in it when I sand and cut stuff. I'll get that too. I'm back. Now let's see if I remember where all these pieces go. Probably don't. Oh, dusty. Blow these off, eh? I guess this comes in handy in multiple ways. How do I use it? Never shake or tilt can before use. Too late. Oh, get rid of the tab. Oh, what was that? Let's glue this together. Where's my glue at? I always run out of glue when I do this. And this was the only glue that the store I went to had. I went to Publix because I needed to get some food. So this was my only option. I don't really like the ones in the hard containers. I like the ones in the tube because you can get more out of it. But this is all they had, so it is what it is. This is the problem with these hard containers. It's so hard to get any glue out. Okay, make sure it lines up. Beautiful. That's the first layer. One a little bit different than I normally do because usually I do a first layer and then I do like a bunch of little pieces, but on this one I decided on my second layer I was gonna just like cut out negative space in it instead of doing like a bunch of different little layers. So I don't know, we'll see how it looks when it's all like stacked together, but it's a little bit different, but it's pretty cool, I think. And it also makes it so it's like less pieces for me to try and organize, which is nice. All right, time for layer number 3. This is what layer number 3 looks like. I'll tell you what, this one took me forever to draw up. I was having such a hard time trying to balance drawing it to where it like looks like it has a lot of texture and detail, but not making it too hard for me to cut out with the jigsaw. And I think I got it to like the perfect like point in between, because it was pretty hard to cut out with the jigsaw, but it turned out really cool looking, or it's gonna turn out really cool looking because it still has like a lot of those little like zigzags and weird shapes. Oh crap, I put it in the wrong spot. Uh-oh. I think that's a good spot for it. Oh. Gotta press her down for 30 seconds. Oh yeah, I was gonna tell you guys, I got this email of this lady who watches the videos. Her name's Deb. She said that her and her granddaughter were making a piece of art inspired by my Temu video where I made like the frog jumping from lily pads to lily pads. She like cut out all the pieces so that her granddaughter could make a piece that's similar. So she cut a bunch of pieces out of cardboard. They used like PVA glue, and she like let her granddaughter paint it, and they put it all together, and it turned out really cute. I'll show you guys. If you don't remember, this is what my Temu art piece looks like. It turned out like this. And then this is the one that they made. Isn't that so cute? I'm very honored that they replicated my art like that. The granddaughter's only 3 years old. It's very cute. I also had an art teacher reach out to me and said that they've been playing my videos during art class while the kids work on their art, which is also so cool to me. So yeah, those are just some sweet little stories. I really gotta focus and get this all glued up, so I'm gonna stop talking to you and focus. All right, layer 3 is finished. Now I'm just about ready to start layer number 4, of course. Top layer, this is the last layer. And then after I get it done, we can prime it and it should be ready to paint tomorrow. This was the layer that I was worried about. I think I said it was a different layer, but this is the layer that I was worried about because I kicked the easel that my boards were sitting on. And I'm testing out this first piece and it is indeed too big. So I think I'm gonna have to trim a lot of these, which sucks because then I have to resand them, but I'm just gonna do it piece by piece. He is complete. That was a lot of pieces. Oh my goodness. And so many of them look the same, so I'm glad it's done. It looks pretty cool, right? And it'll look even cooler when it's painted and epoxied. So now it's time to prime it. While it primes, we're gonna go back to project number 1. And then we'll come back, paint this, and then we can epoxy everything. I only have like 3 to 4 hours to paint today because we're going to Disney today. We go to Disney a lot. Sabrina loves Disney. I am indifferent towards Disney, but we live close, so we go a lot. But yeah, that means I only have 3 to 4 hours to paint today. So I think I'm gonna do like some lightning bolts on the rails right here on the top, and then do some checkers down at the bottom. And then I'll do my hammerhead shark right in the middle. And the hammerhead shark is gonna be burgundy because I want it to be like monochromatic and blend into the burgundy that we already have. I'm also going to do the designs that are on the rails. I'm going to do those burgundy as well. So I'm currently drawing the shark onto my board. This is my drawing. You can kind of see it. I usually sketch something on and then end up just completely painting over it and changing everything, at least I'll have like a good guideline on where to start. So I think I'm almost ready to paint. I just need to draw the checker design on the bottom. Then we can see how good these paints are. The good thing about doing burgundy on burgundy is I probably won't have to do so many layers because the background is already burgundy. So it's not like I'm covering blue with burgundy. Even if the paints are thin, it won't matter quite as much on this one, which I'm very thankful for because I'm sure the paints are going to be thin. They're very cheap. All right, it's finally time to paint. It took me 3 hours before we went to Disney just to even draw the whole shark out. Now it's finally time to paint. I also got this chalk and pastels from Five Below, but I didn't realize I was going to be painting a surfboard when I got these, so I don't think I'm going to use these. I'm not sure what I would even do, and I'm pretty sure it would ruin everything if I tried to use them. Maybe I'll come up with something cool, but for now, I'm going to plan on not using them. I probably will use them for project number 2 for the background. I'm just going to stick to using the paints and the paint brushes. I actually really like the colors that are in here. They're all kind of like muted colors, which I know probably wasn't intentional, but you guys know I love muted colors. Yeah, we got a nice muted green. We got a nice muted red. We're obviously mostly just going to be using the red. I'm starting with my darks and then working my way up to my lights just because of the way that I'm painting it. It makes more sense to do it that way. But I got my black painted on, and this Five Below paint is by far the nicest paint I've used that is cheap. So like out of all the cheap paint sets I've used, this is by far the nicest one, but I've only used the color black, so I can't really judge because usually the lighter colors are the colors that are the worst. So I'll have to let you know when I do my lighter colors, but so far so good. This paint is really impressing me. We got all this paint for $5. That's pretty cheap. And it's pretty good. Time will tell if that's true or if the black is the only good color. Gonna move on to my burgundy. It's gonna be a very similar color to the background, but I'm gonna do that color next. Lighter colors are actually pretty brutal. The white and the red together is just so thin. I'm on my 5th layer of white right now, or the lightest color. Technically it's pink. I'm on my 5th layer and it still needs a couple more layers. You can just see all the brush marks because it's so thin, but I just have to like pack it on there until you can't see any brush marks anymore. It's taking forever, so I think I'm gonna do one more coat of it and then do all my other colors on the underbelly. The problem is they're all gonna be light colors, so I have a feeling this is gonna take forever. And then I'll add on a couple more layers at the end of this color, and hopefully that works. But yeah, the lighter colors are bad. The darker colors are so good though. I might have to mix some of my primer in with it because when I painted the actual surfboard, the primer made it so thick and nice. So maybe it's a good idea to mix some primer in with my colors because then it'll thicken it up. I think I'm gonna do that. All right, that primer that I used is like my base because I was trying to make it thicker, made it way too thick. So it was almost like using an oil paint. So I'm trying to just add a ton more of this acrylic paint in to try and make it a little bit thinner of a texture. It's just so hard getting the right color with these kind of paints because they just don't mix together very well. And like some of them are a lot more saturated than other ones and you don't know that until you start mixing it. I have 2 more hours to paint today, so I need to get moving. shark is so close to being done. I just need to touch up my black outline and just my black in general. And I think that's it. Oh, and then I need to like detail the eye a little bit, but other than that, we're done. So I just gotta do that real quick. And then I can move on to painting all the little designs around the surfboard. And then we are completely done with this and we can move on to finishing up project number 2. So. All right, the shark is done. So now I'm just gonna switch it over so that it's laying flat so that I can do the designs on it. Yeah, I figure these designs will be a little bit easier to paint if the board is flat, just because the rails are so rounded on the board. It'll be easier to paint this way. This should be pretty quick to paint. Painting these straight lines is so hard. But I'll tell you what, this red paint mixed with the green paint mixed with the brown paint of the Five Below paint is so good for some reason. Like, it's so saturated. Like, I could probably just do 1 coat, maybe 2 coats, and it would be completely saturated. But as soon as you mix it with like the white or the light brown, instantly super thin and hard to use. So I mixed a good little concoction of some super saturated like burgundy maroon color that I'm gonna do all the designs with. It's a little bit lighter and a little bit more red than like the big chunk of maroon right here, but I just gotta make sure I get my lines super straight. I tried to make my designs symmetrical, but they're not very symmetrical. But to be honest with you, I don't care that much. Sometimes the imperfections are what make it cool, so I don't worry too much about that. So I'm really enjoying painting the surfboard. I feel like painting an object like this just makes you try and do something like really unique. Just like the way my challenges make me do something unique, I really like, you know, doing this. And so I was thinking of maybe starting another series. So right now I've pretty much been only doing the garbage to gallery series, which is where I take garbage art supplies and turn them into like a gallery worthy art piece. That's what you're currently watching. And I was thinking about starting another series where I just like customize random things. So for instance, this would be one of those challenges where I just customize a surfboard, customize random things off of Facebook Marketplace, customize my bike, I don't know, something like that. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you have any good idea for names for it, or let me know if you would even like a series like that, where I just paint random things, customize random things. Also, maybe the best Five Below purchase that I got were these little tiny cups. They're like the little tiny sauce cup. They work so good for painting, and while I like wait for the layers to dry, I can just put the lid on. Paint doesn't go dry. It's literally the best. I'm gonna go buy a bunch of these because they are so perfect. It's time to paint the owl. I'm so tired today. I went and picked Sabrina up from the airport last night at midnight, so I'm very sleepy, but I got my energy drink. I'm ready to go. All right, here we go. So as always, I'm gonna start with the bottom layer, which is gonna be like a dark brown, and I'm gonna work my way up to the top layer. But yeah, this was my reference photo from the beginning of a cool little owl. So that's kind of what I'm painting, but you know, I obviously simplify it for the style of art that I do. I actually think I might need to sand this. It's kind of rough. I don't know, we'll see how the paint sticks. I might need to sand it. Oh yeah, also, so these were the little brushes I got from Five Below. They're like these weirdly shaped brushes, but they're really nice and wide, and I actually love them. I used this to clear coat the mat for my desk. I'm gonna be using this one to paint my bottom layer. It's like the perfect size, and it's got a nice handle on it. I didn't use them on the surfboard or anything, but they're gonna be perfect for this, so score. All right, let's get started. I ended up hurrying and just sanding it down real quick, just because I was worried about if those edges were gonna be a little too rough or not, so I just hurried to sand it down, and we're good to paint now. I take back what I said about these brushes. They literally broke. They are very obviously just hot glued together, which is probably not the best glue to use when you're making a paintbrush. got all my colors blocked in. So now I'm gonna go ahead, go in, paint the eyes. I need to paint the eyes. I need to paint some little details and stuff. We're pretty close to being done painting this. I'm gonna go do all those little things and then we can work on the background. Owl's all painted, so we're gonna move on to making the background. I think I'm gonna do like a green background. Sabrina, my wife, said that she thinks that would look best, and I agree with her. The owl's got orange on her. It'll be like a subtle green on the background that'll look very complementary towards that orange, so that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna be doing wood, of course. I'm gonna be doing like a green, wood grain. I just gotta build out my background and frame, get everything stained. I'm not sure what color I'm gonna do the frame yet. We will see about that. Probably a light one. Maybe we'll do a whitewashed wood again like we did for the deer. We'll see. Finally time to epoxy this thing. I watched a bunch of videos on YouTube on them actually epoxying surfboards, because to make a surfboard, it's foam with fiberglass and epoxy over it. Now I should be a professional on epoxying surfboards. Luckily, by this point, I am very comfortable with epoxy, so we should be good. It shouldn't be that hard. I just gotta tape off the bottom so I don't get those drip marks. And I'll come take this tape off at like the 1 to 2 hours after I do the epoxy. So I'm just gonna tape it up right now, tape up a nice line on the bottom, pour the epoxy, and then come take it off an hour later. There's no layers on this like I normally do, so it's just one nice flat surface. Should be easy. Oh, I hate wearing this thing. So I had a guy comment and he was asking me how I keep my epoxy from getting dust and stuff like that in it. And I told him I never really have that problem. I don't really ever get dust in it. And let's just say I get humbled real quick because one of my projects in this video just so happens to get a healthy dose of dust in the epoxy and may have ruined the whole project. I'm not going to tell you which one, you'll see. My heat gun is epoxied into off mode. I cannot turn it on. This is not good. There we go. All right, now we can epoxy the owl. The surfboard did not go quite as planned. So for some reason, when I epoxied the surfboard, I went and checked on it like 3 hours later and it was starting to dry like really bumpy, like a very uneven texture. So I went in and poured another coat real quick and I think that fixed it. So fingers crossed that it turns out good and dries good. So now we can pull the owl out and epoxy the owl. That one should be a lot easier. That's more of what I'm used to, working with the different layers and stuff. I thought the surfboard was gonna be easier, but because it's like one flat surface and it's a used surfboard, it has like a lot of dents and stuff, but you want it to look completely smooth. So it's just hard to get it to be completely smooth when it's been dented and stuff. Well, I got some bad news. The owl is completely covered in dust and it's in the epoxy. So yeah, I think the yard guys must have leaf blown a bunch of dust. I had the garage cracked open like 6 inches. So they must have just all went under and came and right on top of my fresh epoxy coat. It's all on like the very top. I think it must have happened while it was mostly dry. So I can sand it all down and redo the epoxy and it'll look good as new. I'm gonna have to do that in the next video and I'll update you guys next video, but I'll show you what it looks like. You can kind of see on camera. I'm definitely gonna fix it. Let's see what it looks like all put together anyway. Well, at least now I can show you my surfboard because the surfboard turned out so good. Let's go check it out.